Auburn quarterback Bo Nix, who sits down with us now on the Alfa Romeo set. And did your dad make it out to SEC Media Days back in the day?
Someone asked me that earlier, and I'm not sure the answer to that one. I think so, maybe. But he played so long ago, I don't even know if they had SEC Media Days.
Well, no, they did because I covered it, Bo.
Yes.
That's a shot at me. You
Yep.
can notice our difference in hair, that I've been to more SEC Media Days than you. I think he did come to SEC Media Days. But the experience of being Patrick Nix's son and how he coached you growing up, and now Mike Bobo in the new system, is there any similarity to Patrick Nix's style of football and what you've seen your whole life and the way Mike Bobo loves to coach football?
There is some similarity, and they do coach the same old school, technical, fundamentally sound coaches who have adapted, I think, as football has adapted. Coach Bobo, obviously, 20 years ago, he was different than what he is now. But I've already learned so much from him. I believe I do have a good foundations, and so going in, I'm allowed and able to kind of take all that in and use it for my abilities and moving forward and to help the team.
Okay, I don't want to be hypocritical, so I got to be transparent here. I know these guys are probably worried about this. I know our producer is. I was a little hard on you last year. You know, you were coming off. You were the SEC Freshman of the Year in 2019, and I thought there were inconsistencies last year. I didn't see a ton of progression. Look, I'm just a fan sitting back on the couch. Do you disagree? Do you think there was progression from 19 to 20 for you?
Well, I appreciate your honesty. Not many people are willing to come out and say that they were hard on me,
especially to your face.
Look, and I did say
I appreciate
no,
that.
but I think a lot of people, they misunderstood some of the things because I see your potential. And look, and I did say at the same time, you are a competitor, man. You're tough as nails.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I do think I grew in certain areas, but it's just last year was so tough without having a spring. Really didn't practice our plays until fall camp. Not knowing when you were going to play, this and that and the other, all these excuses I could give. But at the end of the day, it was just there were times where I could have made a better play, but it felt like almost everything was just discombobulated. And it was so much harder than what it looked like it could be. But now on this side of things with a different offense, just being multiple, I feel like I'll continue just to grow. Last year I a bunch of experience, saw a lot of defenses. People forget that Georgia and Alabama are great teams, and anybody has a hard time moving the ball against them. And it's easy to say because you can compare our offense to others in the SEC that are doing different things, and it's different schemes. And so there are so many good players in the SEC to where it's hard to really get a foundation of like who's actually better and who's good and who's not. And everybody in the SEC obviously has potential and is good. And depending on their scheme and their team, the players around them, really depends on who has better years than other people. But to answer your question, I do believe I grew. It just may not have been 400 yards, 5 touchdowns a game grow. I learned what the bag could feel like, and I'm better for it.
Because you played for your dad coming up, and I think you started for him as an 8th grader, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, up in Scottsboro.
Right.
You never really have gone through a coaching change other than when you've advanced up, like, from junior ball or whatever. So how different has it been going from Coach Malzahn to Coach Harsin, something you've never really even had to experience?
Yeah, and to be honest, I haven't even thought about that, but it has been my first coaching change to where I'm at the same school,
right?
Different coach. I changed schools in high school, but it was with the same
That's
coach.
Right. Your dad, your dad went with
but
you. Yeah,
it was similar. It was a similar change because even though he was teaching the same thing, different team, so adapting to change, no matter how different it was still valuable for me. Same situation I kind of am in now. Just kind of start over and regroup and gain the coaches back again, which it's fun for me, and it's not. It allows me to compete at a high level again, just not be complacent and just kind of stuck in the same path. But I mean, change is tough, but change can be good if taken advantage of. And so I'm excited for what is to come in the future. And everything has worked out to where it's exciting for everybody.
And on that note, you've always been the starting quarterback. And now TJ Finley comes in. He's got starting experience at LSU. I know you're a big-time competitor. When you heard TJ was transferring in, what were your thoughts?
Well, the transfer portal is can be a good thing for everybody. And obviously we got a bunch of transfers this offseason, but the coaches felt like we needed some depth at quarterback, so they went out and got a guy who's had experience. And if there was going to be somebody that we added to the locker room, added to the room, I'm glad it is somebody with experience. But I'm confident in myself in the 2 years that I've had at Auburn and played every game, and just I'm looking forward to focusing on myself and making the team around me better. But again, transfers are good, and TJ, I mean, he's got a lot of potential, but I'm just worried about myself and can only focus on me.
Who do you think ultimately did you more harm? The people like Lance who criticized you on Saturday, or the people like me?
What a man!
When you came out of Pinson, I said on signing day on our show that you would be a Heisman finalist your junior year, this upcoming year.
And by the way, you don't want this guy saying that. He is the ultimate landmine.
I don't make great predictions, I'll be honest, but I was excited when you picked Auburn. I thought you were a generational quarterback. That's a lot of pressure to put on somebody that by their junior year they're going to be a Heisman finalist. And I don't think people like me, not just me, but anybody who put those kind of expectations on a high school recruit on signing day does them any favors. Have you ever heard those type of expectations? Do they impact you at all? And is it a detriment to your career sometimes?
No, it's just y'all's job to make those predictions and to talk about it like that, and it gives different perspective for everybody. And it's just important, one thing to know, I think everybody falls into the trap, is everyone has a different route. Everyone does different things. If you put every quarterback on the same team and refreshed every year, you'd probably be able to simulate who's going to be the best and make a list of guys. But they're different situations, different offenses, different coaches, different players around them, different defenses they go against. I mean, some guys not in the SEC, I hate to say it, but they don't play against the top defenses every single week. So whether it's easier or not, that's a fact. And then other guys, they have first round, second round, third round talent on their team. Other guys have great defense to back them up. So there's so many things that go into, okay, a Heisman finalist, all this other stuff. There are a bunch of college players that in the right system could be a Heisman finalist. They could win the Heisman Trophy. You can look at the past two we've had, Joe Burrow and Devontae Smith. Nobody really before then had picked them. They were in great systems, took advantage of it, and won. I mean, it's just but I think Heisman is different from like a championship of some level, because that means the team is just dominant. The team is really good. And like I said, we've played against some really good teams, but perspective is powerful. And, like, your take wasn't necessarily wrong. I mean, I have done some not played as great in other games, but I've showed some potential in others. So it's like the ball can bounce so many different ways, and people always forget that, I mean, each and every year people are going to come from nowhere, and then all of a sudden they're a great player. So it's year by year. It's hard to even talk about, but that's why they're predictions, and that's why the beauty of football, you get to go out there and play. And Joe Burrow can go out there and win the Heisman Trophy, and it's okay. Devontae Smith can go out there and do the same thing. No matter who predicted who, that's just how it is.
What is the most fun thing about being a starting quarterback in the Southeastern Conference at a school like Auburn?
That's a great question. I think the most fun thing is actually playing on Saturdays, and if it's not in Auburn, playing in the great hostile environment.
I mean, that's got to be incredible. Just the energy in those buildings.
Like my freshman year, game 6, I think it was 6, we went into Florida. I mean, you go into the swamp. Of all the atmospheres in college you can play at, we played at the swamp. And it's you hear it, and you hear stories about it, and you watch other games in the past, but you don't know how loud it is until you get inside the swamp and you're taking a snap from under center. And that's just a fun experience to me, because I grew up with the idea of, like, my dad played in it and all this other stuff, and you hear Tim Tebow played there. I mean, so every stadium is historically known for something. Like this year, we get to play at Penn State. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah,
great,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And, I mean, take the wins and losses out of it, it's just an experience, and it's so much fun.
So your dad coaching you, former quarterback. Now you've got 2 former quarterbacks in Mike Bobo and Brian Harsin. Who do you have more communication with?
Coach Bobo, just because he's my position coach, and Coach Harsin has to worry about X, Y, and Z from a head coaching standpoint. On the field, kind of work with both of them, but it's more Coach Bobo because he's my coordinator, my coach specifically.
All right, Bo Nix, good luck this year, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank y'all so much. War Eagle.